All right, guys. There's a lot of NickIsNotGreen's stuff going on. People are heavily criticizing him. This all stems from the Super Mega situation. I covered it. Actually, I think a smaller creator was the first to like really call out Super Mega, and his name is Papa Gut with NickIsNotGreen's irresponsible coverage of Super Mega. Is me reacting to this guy. named Cheaply. So I'm gonna link my video, of course, in the description, and his as well if you would rather watch his. But what really sparked this big one was Destiny. Destiny has a video. I'm not glazing the guy, but like, you know, he's just annoyingly a part of everything. He's not like, oh my god, like, get a life, am I right? I'll put my actual core video of the Super Mega situation too. But anyway, you know, it's he's getting a lot of heat for it. Destiny being like a 3-hour video. I'm not watching it, but I know that's where it comes from. So we're gonna watch this 8-minute video from Sensitive Society. You know, another interesting content creator.
Bullying a kid, and then we ended up being friends because I think we were both. I think he was gay.
Oh,
and I was queer. So.
Oh, you bullied him for being gay when you were gay?
Well, no, he said he was queer.
Yeah, you know,
which means that like he's fall somewhere on like the you know, the spectrum, but like not necessarily gay. So
kids have kind of a gaydar a little bit. He was either gay or autistic. I don't know.
Ethan is online. Noah Sampson. Nick's not green. That
I don't think Noah Sampson's that bad. The other two, terrible. That Ethan guy, Peethan or whatever, he's dating the Super Mega girl now. I'm pretty sure he pushed her to come out and be like super insane about the situation. Here's the situation. Apparently, she online dated a guy when they first met up. He sexually pressured her. He attempted to, assault her, which is always very wrong. You know, a hot take, right, guys? And then, wow, incredible game. Jesus Christ. And then, you know, he tried to force her down on him. She kept saying stop. He finally did stop. Still wrong. After that happened, she wanted, like, she told the people at Super Mega. They eventually fired him without evidence, which I think is like, you know, they believed her. I don't think that's a bad thing. But then now the story is like, oh no, they should have fired him instantly. They should have went to the police. They should have said something socially or publicly. And it's like, well, this is her story to tell. If she doesn't want to go to the police, that's on her. This is one of the biggest things you need to understand. Like when somebody's a victim of something like that, or a potential victim, like it's their story. You're not gonna. Why would you? Like you can't decide to lead the way. You can try to convince them to come forward, but you can't force them to do that. So the big situation, then she lived at their house and she was going on vacation. She was supposed to be moving out. She was taking advantage of them. They spun that to be like he was a bad guy. The Super Mega guys were bad because they let me live at their place, but they didn't give me a time where I had to move out by. So how was I supposed to know I was like, I guess that didn't encourage her to leave. She seems like a bad friend. And a potentially bad thing may have happened to her, but that doesn't excuse her bad behavior. Like she's just going on constant vacations, and she was like, "Wow, they were work trips." No, they weren't. You were doing work on the trip. I'm going to go to Disney this November, and guess what? I'm going to work. It's on a work trip. I just happen to be working when I'm on the trip. You know, you're doing an online job. You can do it from wherever.
That's my nightmare blunt rotation right there. I cannot imagine the stuff they will be saying. This is a video that I had in my plans for a few weeks now, ever since the whole Nick's Not Green Super Mega situation. And the point of this video isn't a deep dive into the whole Super Mega situation because it's a very complicated situation. It's a mess. The main focus is Nick's Not Green. And in case you guys don't know who this is the guy behind the legendary iconic video, Her Boyfriend Won't Fart in Front of Her. Just a classic. And I don't
kind of based.
recommend anyone to watch his content. I think you're going to get brain damage in about 6 months if you continue to consume that type of content. And I do believe he's a danger to YouTube and the YouTube community as a whole. This is someone who...
Her issue is that they asked her not to talk about it publicly, but they all are sus and bad friends. What do you mean? They never stop. I'm pretty sure there was never a single point where they said don't talk about this publicly. Hey, what's up, Ricardo? That was not even a part. I think that she might have made that claim completely unfounded. She was lying about like half the situation. What are you talking about? And yeah, they were using it to try to virtue bully and go after Super Mega instead of actually like talk about the topic in like an intelligent way. But like that wasn't even proven. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't even proven. She just said that. She said a lot of shit that was just wrong. She claimed that they wouldn't let her have her stuff back after she moved out, and they showed the receipts of her just actively lying about that. They virtue signal about how they made negative comments about a friend of theirs that took their own life. No shit. Like that's a really distressing thing to happen when somebody in your life takes their own life. You're, of course, especially if they're very important to you, of course it's going to negatively impact you and get you upset. And they were like, oh, they were making jokes about it. Yeah, you know what? When my aunt died, my family was making jokes about her too. They were throwing around her. They had a box of her ashes and they were like tossing it and playing hot potato, and then they all bawled their eyes out when they did like the actual ceremony, because that's just how people process trauma. You know, it doesn't take away from the person who took their own life. It's a very horrible thing, but other people around you are going to get impacted. They're going to get upset. Right, so like there's a lot of complicated thoughts here. The problem is that you have a bunch of entitled kids like Nick is not green talking about things that he doesn't know anything about, because he's a baby. He's a privileged baby that never struggled in his life, and he's internet famous. He gets validated on every dumb fucking thing that he says because he's part of the drama community that doesn't give a singular fuck about anything being right. They just care about how they feel and how they feel better than people. It's a morally virtuous cesspool of dog shit where people are just like, I feel good because I'm saying this. It's really, at the end of the day, it's people who want to be on the right side, and because of that, they don't fact check or like parse anything that they're saying with the reality of how people feel, because they don't understand that feelings are uncomfortable sometimes, and sometimes people don't act perfectly, but it's a very normal human thing. Humanity doesn't exist. Idealism is the number one, and it's usually a bunch of kids who are like, no, this is this and this is right. Not everything's always going to happen correctly. Not everything's going to be right. Sometimes people are going to be human, and things can be very complicated, and they try to remove that nuance and just push things in a way where it's like, no. They're a bad person because they didn't do A, B, C, D, X, Y, or Z. Right? That's really what it comes down to.
Who defends their friends without hearing the other side of the story and just jumping the gun. Like, you don't have to defend every single human being you see on your channel before the other side comes out. These videos are not in good faith to defend my friends, because I fight for the little people. Nick's not green. I fight for you. Vote for me and I will defend you every single time you come out with allegations. Whether they're true or false, I'll defend you. I'll be there. If you go to his video on Super Mega is full of horrible people, the top comment says, using a potential sexual assault for a hit piece about people you don't like. Very, very classy. Nick is a definition of a child who thinks he's always in the right because he said so. If this all turns out to
these are all new comments. The reason that these are new is because I believe Destiny's video came out and was saying all these things.
The allegations, this video is going to be a golden ticket for a defamation case. I really do believe this video has destroyed the credibility of Nick's Not Green. Nick's Not Green made this whole video to defend a friend.
A much more serious story that involves someone that I'm personally friends with, someone who goes by the name Lex, or Lex Updog online, and she's also the partner of one of my very good friends. Ethan is online.
Yeah, they're all just shitty people, by the way. Like, okay, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I don't know what else to tell you. You know, this is, I mean, if anything, it's like the obvious red flag of like disconnected online people who are just, these are just people you don't want to associate with. You know, and I think that they're a dying breed on the internet. I think that people are starting to value genuinity and people who are willing to be vulnerable and talk about real shit, instead of people who, you know, virtue signal about everything over and over again.
And that's kind of how I first began learning about this situation. So today's story has to do with a YouTube channel by the name of Super Mega.
So I just wanted to play a little bit so you get the vibes, so you get a bit of context of the whole situation. Once again, we're not going to do a super deep dive into it. I just want to talk about Nick's Not Green and the handling of this situation. And I've seen the video.
Yeah, he's pulling a Myron Gaines. It's my friend. I have to defend them. I can't parse through the information in an honest way. It's my friend. If my friends don't defend me to a fault, then are you really my friend? That's like a fucking Myron. That's like a Sneeko right there. Absolutely.
And he defends her one day in with no response from anyone else, and he completely goes in and says, oh yeah, all these people sexually assaulted her, even though we don't have the other side of the story, but I'm just gonna take.
Well, it's because on the internet, it's like the first person to come out with any story is always going to be right to people, and then they're going to engage in an anchor bias. So it doesn't really matter what he says. His fans aren't necessarily going to turn on him because that anchor bias is there. Well, I heard it was real, so it must be real kind of a thing. And it's like this self-referential situation where the proof that something is real is because I said it was real in the first place. That it's one of those. It's just a very bizarre scenario like that. That's really all it boils down to. So stop fucking with me, bro.
Down and run with it. Let's say it's a noble act. Nick's Not Green is just an angel. He came from heaven to to help everyone to make their voice be heard for the 5th time this year, and he's the nicest person on planet Earth. Once again, he's an angel sent from God himself to purify everyone else who doesn't agree with him. Let's say that's the case.
This is super sensationalized, this fucking guy's video, but I also, like, yes, that's exactly how I think this guy acts. So I'm not even gonna, like, disagree with the guy on that one.
why would you include this following part in your video about sexual assault and you defending your friend? What does this have to do with everything else?
And my favorite
It's like an appeal to emotion. Like, these are my friends. I know them. And so it makes it feel like he has more charity. These are my friends. They would never lie. I'm a good person. I choose good company. These are good people. On top of that, so they must be good because they're my friends, and I'm never wrong. And I'm a good guy for defending my friends. That's why he includes it in there. Right?
post right here says rape apologist gets what he deserves, and it shows Matt getting the absolute shit beaten out of him. Let's just let it play a couple more times. We can keep watching it. I don't think anyone minds letting this loop on repeat. We could just let this go.
Yeah, it's a virtue.
If you want me to do this for
it's like this term, it's really crazy, like, oh, he's a rape apologist. For what? Because his friend might have been sexually assaulted, and it was an attempt at assault. I'm not trying to downplay it, and then continued to slander him and lie about pretty much everything throughout the entire video. Like, watching her video, you could tell that a lot of the things that she was saying weren't truthful because of the way that she interpreted information. Like, I remember watching it, I was like, this started to get really weird after like the first hour. You know, she was blabbering on about irrelevant shit. You know, she tried to blame them because they let her stay there for free. It was just so disconnected from reality. But like I said, it's not about trying to criticize bad behavior. It's about trying to feel justified. It's virtue bullying. It's trying to say, like, I'm better than this person, so I can cause violence onto them. It's the same thing, and it's so interesting because if you look at these behaviors from a fundamental capacity, it's the same thing as people who bully people with intellectual developmental disabilities. It's like, oh, this person is bad because they did bad things. Assigning like that agency to them, like, you know, somebody that has like the mental capacity of like a fucking 14-year-old, like, yo, but he is 18, so he's basically, and they just virtue signal about it, you know. Everybody does it, you know. It doesn't matter if it's Nick is not green. It doesn't matter if it's like Turkey Tom when it comes to Daniel Larson. It doesn't matter when it comes to people and fucking Christian. What Christian did was disgusting, but not taking into these other factors of these like systemic issues and these different people. Oh, I'm fucking so dead. It's like this other like factors, like people bullying, you know, Christian relentlessly to a point where they couldn't trust any relationships, and then encouraging him or her to assault her mother. It's the same thing as people who go on TikTok and go, look at this person, they're having a bad day and somebody caught them doing something wrong. Here's their name, phone number, address, this is where they work, try to get them fired. It's just virtue bullying 101. It's all across the board. People on the right do it, the people on the left do it. It's the same thing as like a fucking drag queen dresses up like and then goes and reads to a kid, doesn't do anything wrong, and it's like, oh, this is bad because, and then they just decide to virtue signal. It's virtue bullying. I feel justified in being hateful towards a person because I disagree with their life choices. That's all it boils down to. It's all this whole thing boils down to. So
the rest of the video, I could.
If all these
it's just that there's a fundamental thing inside of people that makes that, like, causes them to like feel justified in bullying. You know, it's just like a coliseum. You know, it's just like fucking the ancient Rome. We just want to do something, you know, socially violent to people, and we need to satisfy this itch. You know, it's all over the place.
Allegations and accusations turn out to be false. This video will straight up destroy this guy's reputation, because how can you trust anyone after this, dude? How could anyone take this guy seriously? If all you wanted to do is defend your friend because she's dating Ethan is online, your best friend forever, and you guys potentially dated. There's some rumors that Ethan is online and Nick are dating, or were dating at some point, but you know, that's just rumors I've heard from other people.
It just sounds like you're calling him gay. That's like a dunk. Ah, he's gay. Like, that's okay. Great. It was a good defense. Okay.
You're defending his girl, but at the same time, you're laughing at the guy. You're going through his subreddit. You're laughing at all the memes. This is very clearly a hit piece. If you wanted to keep this at, hey guys, this video is going to be 50 minutes long. We're just going to talk about my friend who got...
Well, the hit piece isn't necessarily the laughing. Although there is a good argument to there. It's like all the people that'll say something is really serious, and then they'll go and they'll hire like a fucking church choir to sing a song about them and be like, haha, this is so funny. Like they get off to the drama. That's really what it boils down to. So sure, there might be a little truth to that.
sexual assaulted allegedly, I think people would be like, yeah, that's pretty shitty without knowing the other side of the story, but okay, fine, we'll let it fly. He has an extra 15 minutes of looking at memes, reading Reddit posts, laughing at him getting punched, and it's like, this is very clearly a hit piece to try to take someone down, and people like Nick's Not Green should honestly be banned. Let's use the same logic against him. This guy's a danger to the platform because he could.
I think that the biggest problem with this video is it just asserts that he was wrong without telling us why. I explained why what Nick Green was saying was wrong in my little intro, but so far this is clearly a hit piece because they're friends and he was looking at memes. It's like, okay, that you're just this is the problem with the kind of content. You do you, but the problem is that the only people that are going to gravitate towards this video that this guy's making are the people who already don't like Nick Is Not Green. You're not getting like that's it. Like you're not wrong, but I don't even know if you know why you're right. It's one of those like weird situations. It's like, yeah, it's bad. It's why do you think it's fake? Like give us a little bit of breakdown on the situation, and you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's a little silly goosery. Oh shit! I'm
could
dead.
deplatform people and send mass hate to anyone Nick doesn't like or anyone Nick disagrees with. Is that someone we really want on YouTube, guys? Do we want someone
I mean, I personally wouldn't call for someone's ban on YouTube, but I do think it's shitty behavior.
who deplatforms and makes videos about sexual assault allegations within 24 hours, gets a video out, and then makes fun of the person without once again knowing what happened? You're clearly signing one way, and you're clearly pushing for a message. You're like, yeah, guys, come on, come this way. They're guilty. They're 1000% guilty. I think I would get a shit ton of hate if I did that. If I was just laughing at Quad and he got in the fight and I'm like, ha ha ha, look guys, I could replay it over and over again if you guys want. I would get hate on, and rightfully so. That shit was
I guess quite, yeah, but sure. I mean, like I don't know. I think that there's different people. It depends on who it is, but like there are certain people. Like if it was a false allegation against Nick Is Not Green and you said he was guilty, people would not follow you at all in your audience. Your audience hates this guy. So like fundamentally speaking, you probably would get away with it too. But
does not
that's
need
not
to be in a
thing,
very
but
quote-unquote serious video like Nick's Not Green said it was. And I'm not saying you shouldn't believe the victims. I never said that. But how can you be so irresponsible on a channel with 700,000 plus subscribers and talk about this in this manner? This guy's straight up pushing an agenda. And guys, just when I think I've seen it all, just a week later, he doubles down on everything.
You know, despite that, I've still received several comments on the original video claiming that I put out my video about Lex without waiting for Super Mega to respond, and that I was taking a side before hearing everybody's sides. And I thought I made this clear before, but of course I'm going to take the side of a personal friend of mine when she comes out with a story about her own sexual assault. This isn't like an online, like normal thing where I look at all the facts.
So this is an interesting dynamic that we're engaging in because it is human, but then it's also not at the same time. Okay, I want to explain why. So on the one hand, in a real life scenario, abso-fucking-lutely, you would agree, you believe your friend over anybody else. It's your friend. The problem is that you're no longer a normal person when you're on the internet. You're somebody that has a platform and you represent like an entire narrative. So there's a difference between being like, this is my friend and I believe them versus making a video about this topic. You're not just a person now, you're a content creator. You know, you have to act with a level of professionalism. And unverified claims that even watching the own video, it's clear that there is some, you know, inconsistencies. Like you're simply you don't get to hide behind this. Like everybody's gonna be more charitable to their friends, but like you're just bypassing logic at a certain point. So you know you don't get to necessarily operate with that perspective in that way. And again, I think that it was just an excuse to try to harass somebody that you didn't like, because that's a lot of your content is talking about bad people. And this is one of those things that happens when you make your content about a certain thing. You need to continuously find more content about a thing. I know it sounds silly. If you do slime videos, you're going to keep making slime videos. But when it comes to controversial content creators and finding them, it's in short supply, generally speaking. And so what happens is you start to sensationalize situations that are happening. You start to like, well, this person isn't as bad as the last bad guy, so let's make him seem like he's worse. And then people will be like, oh, wow, this is a really bad guy. It's kind of like one of those. So.
And I make a decision, no. My friend was assaulted and never felt like she was able to be heard.
You know, this is a pretty bold thing to admit on the internet, and I think it's completely irresponsible that someone with 700,000 subscribers is saying, yeah, I'm just going to blindly believe my friend, and my friends will never lie, right? I'll give you an example. If fucking a Cheeto, right, if there's crazy allegations against him, they're calling him a Cheeto 445 or anything, or Mini Cheeto, I'm not going to jump in and make a video 4 hours after the allegations to be like, Cheeto is completely guilty or he's completely innocent and this is why. He's my friend, so I'm just going to defend him blindly.
I would say it would be better if the comparison was a Cheeto was alleging that he was assaulted, rather than being the assaulter. But okay.
It blows my mind he sees nothing wrong with this, and I hope this is the last time this happens, because if he does this yet again with another friend who comes forward, this guy's straight up slandering people right and loud, people that he doesn't like, people that he doesn't agree with. The dislike tells you everything you guys need to know.
And obviously, I believe her word. There is no way where I would look at that situation and hear her story and do people think that just legitimately she just wants to outright lie about the way they treated her for no reason? I don't really understand.
Yeah, no, I know you don't understand. No, here's what I think. I think it's complicated. I think that there are a ton of different factors that are encouraging her to tell her story through the worst lens possible. Like I said, when you look into that, it is unfortunately like the allegations that a guy that she was dating tried to assault her, was trying to pressure her to go down on him, and then it didn't happen. And I think that that's probably an experience that sat very negatively with her. I think that's factor number one. And as time went on, she probably got more and more upset about that. There might have been nights where she stayed up and thought like, wow, that was a really shitty scenario, and it upset her. That's factor number one. I think factor number two is that she's online in the internet era where sexual assault and grooming are over-affirmed to the point where everything is grooming, everything is rape, everything is sexual assault. There's no more intelligence, there's no more nuance, and there's actually social validation for coming forward with a story, even if it's unverified. That's absolutely true. I think that's a factor. I think it's a factor that she's an online person, an online content creator, and that some content creators in general have a habit of making their content out of their lives and out of their stories and sensationalizing those stories to a disproportionate way, trying to match the way that she feels about it over the way that things actually happen. I think that there was probably over-validation from this P guy. I think he's a shitty person as well. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of different factors there. I don't know that she necessarily did it actively maliciously, but I do think that some of it is just the way that we glorify some of this online behavior. Absolutely. There are moments that I look back on in my life where I cringe at them. And if depending on the social atmosphere is going to dictate part of the way that I'm going to feel about that, and we know this is fundamentally true. Let's say you live in a super homophobic area and you have feelings like gay feelings. You're going to think that those are wrong because your atmosphere is telling you that this is a wrong feeling to have. We know that as a fact. That's not a good thing. Right now, if you had an atmosphere where then there's atmospheres where sexual assault is when it happens, it's downplayed. Oh, this didn't happen. This didn't happen. Online is the atmosphere where it's upplayed, and so people are going to there's going to be a level of proportionality when it comes to responses, and mental health is very complicated. It's a very complicated thing. I always talk about you shouldn't be over or under affirming of a person's situation. That's not really a good way to engage with some of this stuff. It's just a very complicated thing. So
where people are coming from when they call me a liar with an agenda and they call her a liar with an agenda. Where do you guys think we're coming from? You think we're a part of the Illuminati or something?
Nick is acting like there's never been false allegations. Nick is acting like no friend has ever lied or backstabbed you before. Either Nick's Not Green is a really, really good person and he's never done anything wrong in his life, or he's just straight up retarded. And even the comment section reflects, no one agrees with this fucking loser. Brother, your coverage of this has been a net negative on the whole situation. He deadass found a way to make this about him while walking back his last video for an hour. This dude Nick is straight up a horrible person weaponizing sexual assault. Yeah, I do believe that. How could anyone support Nick's Not Green after this? This guy's straight up a fucking moron. Nick can only see Lex, good person, Super Mega, bad person. Let me run with that. Not taking a look at the facts, not waiting for Matt or anyone.
And I do think that there's a level of
Hey, Mr. Wellerman.
There's a level of social I want to check this out. There's also a level of social like affirmation from from his audience on being the good guy that calls out sexual assault. That's another factor in like to the over affirmation. And I think it's like this. It's really that's one of the problems is that. And it's something that people should truly consider. Is Nick is not green? Is his affirmation of what happened to this girl because he actually believes her, or is it because he knows he can make a good story out of it? Like, we don't know. That's an internal thought or feeling or experience that he's having. We'll never actually know that. But I mean, it's not impossible. Especially a lot of these larger content creators that are looking for content, man. They will, they're trying to stay relevant. They're trying to stay active. I don't necessarily put it past them. Bro, get the fuck out of here.
Hey guys, welcome back to another epic video.
What the hell? Okay, sorry, that wasn't the right
Now
video.
from that channel to
Oh my
respawn.
God.
He's actually doing way more harm than good here. Because of you, Lex is getting more
Jesus
hate.
Christ.
Your videos are not helping anyone. They're making things worse. Delete him, my dude. Take them down. They're hurting the victim a lot more.
And a lot of them are just going to say like, oh no, it's just like more people on the internet that like don't affirm sexual assault survivors or victims. And it's like, there are people like that do exist, but then there's also, again, there's a weaponization of it. We've seen like shit again with like Call Me Carson is a huge example of somebody who didn't do anything wrong, was called like a fucking groomer, and everybody dogpiled him. So
More, dude.
That was a
Come on
2-minute
now.
video,
Stop
I
trying to
think.
be a savior. You're not a savior, okay? You're a fucking
I should have let
YouTuber.
him.
You're so corny, dude. Stop trying to act like God himself sent you to protect
He did.
all the sexual assault victims in the entire planet.
Bro, that was
I'm
yeah,
Nick's
I
not
know
green,
what you
and I
mean.
will fight for you. But I won't look at the facts. I won't wait for the other side of the story. I'm just going to talk about it on my huge YouTube channel. That's all I'm gonna do, guys. Comment Nick's not green L. He cannot be real. People like that cannot be real. But with that said, what do you guys think of this situation? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Let's pass Nick's not green, and that will be awesome. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. All right, peace.